Welcome to the Early Morning Light Podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Early, and on this podcast, I share life-changing tips, tools, information, motivation, and inspiration to bring light to your life as you tune in week after week to the Early Morning Light Podcast. And I'm excited again about this episode. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've posted. There've been just some things going on. I'm shifting the posting schedule to every other week as opposed to weekly. But I'm back with the Early Morning Light Podcast, and I'm back at a very special time for me. As someone who works in education, I love the new beginnings of the school year, and we are in the middle of the beginning of a new school year, about a weekend for the school that I work for. And many other schools started before that. Some are starting soon. And I want to speak specifically to students, whether you're at the high school level, the college level, just all students, man. I just love this beginning of the school year time. I always have, even back when I was in school. I loved that fresh beginning of a school year. I mean, I was always energized by that. I don't know if anyone listening can relate to that, but I was fired up at the beginning of the school year. I remember when I was younger, you get your new school clothes and your books and your book bags and all your new stuff. And I just loved that time of the year, but I've always been kind of a lover of new beginnings. I always have. So I want to speak specifically to the students. I get to work with a lot of students in my job, and I absolutely love that. I love being in a situation where I can have some impact, even if it's small, on the lives of students. Specifically for me, it's high school and some middle school students that I get to work with. But I just want to send some encouragement to the students, and I want to start with, there's three things I want to talk about. Number one is, and this can go to parents as well, you can share this with your students, is that one of the things I like about the start of the school year is that it is a fresh start. It's a clean slate for the most part. It doesn't matter really as much what you did the year before, the school year before. Yes, you may have grades that are not up to where you want to be, but you really can't do anything about that. But what you can do is you can focus in on, what can I do to make the most of this fresh start, starting in August or September, whatever time that your school starts. How can I approach this year fresh, having learned all that I've learned throughout the last year, having maybe failed a little bit or maybe even a lot, and grown through that failure. Someone once said to me that failure is just another opportunity to begin again more intelligently. I forget who said that, but someone said that. And that's really what it's about. Like, no matter what happened the year before, and, some students are really doing really well, making good grades, getting involved outside the classroom and being leaders and all those things that we encourage. And then some students may not be exactly where they wanted to be in that previous year before summer break. So I just want to encourage all of the students, those who are in any of those categories, to just approach this year as a fresh start, as a clean slate. You have an opportunity to be the author of what happens for you this year. So speaking of that, my second focus or point that I want to encourage is, I want to encourage all of you to, and parents, encourage your students to set goals, at the very start of the year, set some goals. Take some time in that first week to sit down and just think about, what do I want to get out of this school year? Like, by the end of this school year, 24-25, What do I want to have accomplished? What grades do I want to get? We know that's always important. What are some of my goals for my social life, for getting connected? If you're a person of faith, which I am, what are some of my spiritual goals as a student? What do I want to do? What would make me feel like I accomplished what was important to me in this year? And we talk to our students often about SMART goals. We want to make these goals specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound is what we call it. So what are some goals that I want to achieve this year? What grades do I want to get in my classes? I would say each class, like just think, what grade do I want to get this semester? What grades do I want to get for the whole year or for the quarter? If you want to break it down into short-term versus long-term goals for the year, what do I want to get out of this year? What is important to me that would make me feel successful at the end of this school year? And I encourage everyone, the act of writing things down. Someone once said that any goal that's not written down is just a great idea. It's just a great idea. It feels good at the time. It sounds good at the time. And at the time, you might actually, if you're not writing it down, you might actually feel really good about this goal that you've just thought up in your head. But I want to encourage you to write your goals down. The act of writing those down, and I would even encourage you to. I used to do this with we used to do this with my son with his academics and even his sports goals for his teams, to have him write them and put them somewhere visually in your room, your bedroom, on the fridge, in your book bag. I don't know, somewhere where you're going to see them on a daily basis. But write those goals down. What is important to you? What goals do you have, again, for your quarter grades, for your semester grades, for the whole year? What goals do you have in terms of connecting? What goals do you have in terms of getting involved outside of the academics? I mean, let's just face it, it's not just about the academics. I mean, you want to be focused on being the whole student, the whole person. And it's just as important to set goals in your activities or your sports or the things that you do outside of the classroom. What are you working towards in getting involved in your clubs and activities? That one is so important. It's not, again, just about the grades. And then if you're a person of faith, like I said, what are some of your goals for your spiritual walk, for your faith walk, if that's something that is part of your life? So set some goals. And then the third piece, the third point I want to make, and this one's going to be relatively shorter, is I want to encourage all of the students who are listening, our parents, encourage your students to embrace the discomfort. Embrace the discomfort of those unknown things that may create a little discomfort because you haven't done these things before, because you haven't been challenged in this way before. For those students who are going into high school, you don't necessarily know the high school process and what the expectations are going to be in the classroom and the rigor of the classes. Just embrace, trust that you have what it takes to be successful, because you do. That's why you're there. And then embrace those challenges, the discomfort of maybe the difficult class or the difficult activity that you're getting involved in, something you haven't done before. You don't have a reference for it because you haven't done it at that level. Embrace that challenge, because what I know from experience and from the experience of students I've worked with is that there are so many opportunities for growth, but we don't grow when we're not stretched, when we're not forced to be or knocked outside of our comfort zone. And that comfort zone can be a dangerous place to be for a lot of us. So it's going to be okay. I know the song says that too, but it's going to be okay to be challenged a little bit and to embrace the discomfort. That's how you grow. That's how you learn we don't really learn much without some discomfort of not knowing and getting to the point where you know whatever it is you're learning. So embrace that discomfort and trust that you have what it takes. You have been preparing all your life to be in the position you're in right now. No, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything to do your best and to be successful. So embrace the discomfort, and you'll be amazed at what that feels like on the other side when you come through that uncomfortable situation, that situation where there's this fear of the unknown, or walking into a situation where you don't know everything about that subject or that situation or that activity, whatever it is. Embrace it. You got it. You can do this. So that's just what I wanted to leave with the students today, and I'm always looking to encourage students and others around me, because people hear enough negative information. So I've always wanted and to be in a situation where I'm encouraging people. So to recap, start fresh and embrace the new year as you go into the school year. Set some goals for yourself, short term, long term, based on what's important for you for this year, and write them down, put them somewhere where you can see them on a regular basis. And my third point for this episode is embrace the discomfort. You're going to grow so much if you allow yourself to embrace the discomfort. Trust the supports that you have around you, that you can get through these hard things. You can do hard things. This is Tracy Early. Thanks for tuning in to the Early Morning Light podcast. I'm back every other week. There will be an episode of the Early Morning Light podcast. I look forward to it. Thanks for tuning in. And I look forward to sharing more light in your life as you tune in to the Early Morning Light podcast.